Hi, everybody. It's Bizzy from Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. It's episode 198. I can't even believe that. 198. We're 2 episodes away from 200. Crazy. Crazy. 200. That'll be 200 episodes. Who would have known that 3 years ago I would still be doing this podcast? But here I am, still doing this podcast. And I haven't changed, I don't think that much, but we now have all these guests that come on Thursdays, which is fun, It's different, but I always like to do mine too. And a friend of mine, I'm going to give her a little wink, who's in Florida, was like, I like it when you go on by yourself because I love your stories and all that. So here I am solo today on episode 198. And faith without works is dead. I love that. That's one of my favorite sayings from the Bible. And you may be asking me, like, is this this isn't a religious podcast. No, it's about getting sober, which it is about getting sober. But I think that I think we can't get sober without some faith. Now, your faith may be in the sunrises. Your faith may be in the sunsets. Your faith may be in the trees. Your faith may be in flowers. Your faith may be in birds. Your faith may be in God. Whatever your faith is in, it's important that we have faith. Last week I talked all about fear, right? So we have all this fear. And there's a lot to be fearful of right now. The world is in a very crazy place. So there's a lot of fear. But how do you not go to fear? And how do you just go to faith? It takes time. It takes energy. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. I woke up this morning, and a lot of you know that I've been doing this. I've been doing a morning meditation. I read a little bit, and then I listen to a meditation. I meditate for 15 minutes, and then I write about it. And this morning, I realized how much faith I really have today, and what a miracle it is that I have it. And so for those of you that are listening that are like, wait a minute, I have no faith, I don't get it, I totally can agree. I can relate to that. I can relate to not getting it. I can relate to not having faith. I can relate to being like, oh my God. And I love to call it either Eeyore. So Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, because Eeyore was like, oh my God, another day. I could relate to that. And I can also relate to Chicken Little. And Chicken Little is going, the sky's falling, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And I realize now that when I was doing the spinning and doing the Eeyore part of my life, I wasn't living in the solution. I was living in the problem, and I was living in the fear, and I wasn't living in the faith. And so I can only live in faith one day at a time. So each day I have to be aware of what's going on inside of me, right? So if I get caught up, I can get caught up very easily. I can get caught up in the news, so I don't watch it anymore. I can get caught up in other people's drama where I want to own it and I want to fix it. Do you know what I mean? Like you get caught up in the drama in the story and you're like, I can see a train wreck coming. I just have to worry about it. I'm going to call the person. I'm going to tell them what to do. I'm going to tell them how they're going to get out of this, how they're going to figure this out, when really it's none of my business. That's taken a long time. Realizing it's none of my business. And I don't have to spend all the time. I don't have to spend all this time and energy worrying about other people's lives, because my life for a long time was definitely not where I wanted it to be. I was worried all the time. I talked about this last week. Worried about food, worried about how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to get my kids through school. And I worried a lot. And everybody would be like, well, have some faith. And I'd be like, but I don't know what that feels like. What is faith? And I know some people aren't religious. And the crazy thing is that I've been going to church my whole entire life. I went to Catholic church when I was younger, and when I could make a choice for my own and I had kids, I went to the Episcopal church, which I still go to this day. And that like was crazy coming and realizing I needed to have some faith. I was like, people would talk about the faith and I'd be like, I don't even get it. I don't even get what that means, having faith. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what faith means to me, and faith without works, that scripture means to me today. And so faith, believing that something's going to be okay when everything looks like it's not going to be. So I have no money. How am I going to feed my kids? But how do I have faith? So I have faith I pray. Okay. So, and even if you're not a religious person, prayer, you can pray anyway. Will it hurt you to pray? I don't think so. And if you have to pray to the gods of the trees, if you have to pray to the gods of the sun, if you have to pray to the gods of the plants or gods of the rocks or gods of the cars, whatever it is, but pray to something that I don't want to feel this feeling anymore. Right? So if you have this prayer that goes, like, God, please watch over me, or the God of the trees, please watch over me, or God of the rocks, please watch over me and help me not have fear, I would do that. Okay. So I'd say that. And while I'm saying it, did I really believe that anything was going to help happen? I don't know. I don't know if I did, but at least got me not thinking about the gloom and the Eeyore land. Okay. That it did do. It made me feel like, okay, you know what? You can I just got out of myself. I just said a prayer. I just asked for help, which is a huge thing. And I've talked about that numerous times. It's like such a huge thing. It's so hard to get out of yourself and to ask for help. It's so hard to ask for help. We're just not raised to ask for help, and I think asking for help is a major sign of courage. It's not a sign of weakness. I think the people who say it's a sign of weakness are probably weak weasels, but I think it's a sign of like strength, because you know what? Nobody's good at everything. Nobody is. Nobody walking on this planet is good at anything. So going, hey, I need some help. And if it's to something you can't touch and can't smell, maybe it's not as scary as asking an actual human. So you ask this higher power, can you help me today? And I did that all the time. All the time. I asked, can you please help me? Can you please help me? Can you please help me? And that's the works. That's the works. And faith without works is dead. So faith without having any works going along with it is dead. So it's kind of like, I want to win the lottery. Well, how are you going to win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket? Well, how am I going to have faith if I don't pray for anything, even if it's like, again, the rocks or the planets or the sun? Having something that you believe in that works for you is important to have the faith to say the prayers. Because I can tell you, so back in those days, and I remember, and I said this to you guys last week, like falling to my knees, asking God for help. And I remember falling to my knees and saying, because I had a mom that really said stuff to me that was constantly playing in my head. Like, you're not good. You're never going to be good. You're this, you're that, other names that I don't want to go into. And falling to my knees in my hallway, actually right out the side of the room I'm in right now, and falling to my knees and saying, God, please take that voice away. And I don't know if it happened instantaneous, but it did go away. That voice of my mother went away eventually. And that gave me faith. That gave me faith. When I said, God, please, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I really don't want to drink anymore. Please help me, God. Please help me, God. And my craving for alcohol went away. That was like, that gave me faith. That gave me faith. Knowing that I was doing the best I could each day gave me faith. That gave me faith. If you don't drink one day at a time, I don't feel like there's as much emphasis as it was maybe 14 years ago. So I'm going to reiterate it. If you get one day of sobriety, it's your winner. I don't care. One day. If the only thing you do right in one day is not drink, that'll give you faith. It gives you faith. It's like, okay, how did who drank? I don't want to say I drank every day, because I didn't drink every day. I was a bitch drinker, but when I drank, I got drunk. Okay. And I never thought I was ever going to stop drinking. because it was the answer to all my prayers. I didn't have to feel, right? I didn't have to feel. I didn't have to face things. I had this, it was the answer to everything. I really loved drinking. And because I didn't have to feel. Because if I had to feel, I'd believe those words my mom would say to me. I'd believe the lies spinning in my head that I was no good, I was this, I was that, which were all lies. We're all good. We're all good. We just happen to have a disease that makes us believe that we're not good and believes that we have a choice. I think that once, if you're an alcoholic and you've passed that place of no longer being a pickle now, or no longer being a cucumber, and now you're a pickle, you can't go back. It's just a problem. It's just reality. So you can't go back and say, all right, I'm just going to have one drink. It just didn't work for me. So when I decided that I didn't have a choice anymore, and that I wasn't a bad person, and that I did have a disease, because I remember that craving that happened after I'd have one, and I'd want another one and another one and another one, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much I'd tell you I'd pray and how much I'd pay you that I wasn't going to have another one. I'd do it anyway. So recognizing that and realizing that when the drinking like disappears and you're with yourself and you have all these feelings, which I didn't know what any feeling was. I can tell you, because I wasn't allowed to feel like anxiety or whatever, all those words. I had no idea what any of them meant. People would talk about them and I'd be like, what is that? I don't only know cold or hot. So it was all brand new for me, having a feeling and taking the time to realize that those feelings aren't going to kill me. Those feelings aren't going to be, they're not going to make my life horrible. Those feelings aren't always reality, right? Because feelings change. Feelings can be one way one day and be another way another day, right? Like one day or an hour, or actually a couple minutes. 1 minute you could be sad and the next minute you could be happy. And knowing that we can do those things and it's okay and it's not going to kill us is an amazing thing. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. And recognizing that no one's perfect is another big thing that's helped me. I don't think being perfect is attainable anyway. I mean, if we're robots, I think robots are supposed to be, I think they're supposed to be perfect. I think some computer programs are supposed to be perfect. But I think human beings are not perfect. And I think it's okay not to be perfect. I think that I learn from my mistakes, right? I learn when I do things that cause me pain. If I do something that causes me pain, then I realize what it is that causes me pain, and then I don't want to do it anymore, right? But sometimes it takes doing the same thing over and over again and having the same result of pain and realizing I've got to change something. And it's the courage to change. It's the courage to change that makes everything better. So again, going to that faith, because now I sit here and I think of so many experiences that I've been through that I didn't really, I faked it till I made it. That's what we say, like faking it till I made it. I had feelings like of sadness and remorse and regret and a ton of shame. I had so much shame. I was like, I can't pay for my kids. This is kind of a shameful. I have to go, I had to apply for whatever. I had applied to get my kids that health insurance I told you guys about last week. And, that came with a lot of shame. And it came with a lot of shame that I am an alcoholic. Like, that's like, it comes with so much shame and remorse and regret and time wasted and, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. None of us are stupid. None of us are stupid. We're all just trying to do this thing called life. It doesn't come with a handbook, right? It's like we're not given a kid and said that here's a handbook and this is what you're supposed to do and your kid's going to turn out perfectly. Well, if there was, we would all do it. But the reality is that isn't there. I don't know if we'd all do it actually anyway, because let's face it, I like that life's a little spicy and there's lots of different people and all different ways of doing life. But it's taking time to have that faith. So the faith that I talked about, that's blind and that's, you can't buy. um, takes time. And the more that I realize, and I'm just going to use the God word because it works for me. It's what works for me, and I hope I'm not offending anyone. But God works for me. So God is good orderly direction, and God is in heaven. So God for me in heaven is has given me the ability to like trust that everything's going to work out when it didn't look like that it was going to. So when I was like, something really bad was going to happen. I'm going to give you an example of my honeymoon. So on my honeymoon, we had a ballistic missile was coming to Hawaii, and we were sitting in a parking lot in Hawaii, in Maui. Every cell phone goes off around us. 1,000 cell phones go off. At least we were at a swap meet, which is like a huge flea market, in a school parking lot in Maui. And all these cell phones go off, and it's like a ballistic missile is headed your way. Go for cover. Now, I'll never forget we were in a Jeep. We had rented a Jeep. So there was a Jeep there. We had bought a couple things prior to this happening, and we're kind of spinning, like being newly sober. Like, what way am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? There's a ballistic missile coming from, I don't know where, China, I guess. I don't know where it was coming, if it was coming from Korea, somewhere in Korea. I think it was coming, North Korea, it was coming. But anyway, so there's this ballistic missile coming, and my husband and I are walking around in circles, and we're like, I said to my husband, let's go to that church basement. I mean, the school basement. It was in a school parking lot. And he was like, why are we going to go in a basement with a bunch of strangers? Why wouldn't we stand out here in the sun, looking at the beautiful mountain range of Hawaii, and just be out here? And I was like, you're right. Why would we go into some basement of some building when we could just be here? And the crazy thing is, all I was visualizing, I don't know, from watching movies when I was a kid, was this huge mushroom, the mushroom cloud that came up and would go like, shh, and it was gonna be like a big, that gave me, and it didn't come, as obviously I'm sitting here talking to you guys, but in that moment, when it was over, I had this faith. It was like, God is watching over me. Like, everything's going to be okay, Elizabeth. Like, everything's going to be the way that God wants it to be. And what I think may be a mistake could be a huge gift, right? So like getting sober, I thought getting sober was going to be the end of my world. I was going to be hanging out with a bunch of losers. My life was going to suck. I was going to have this shitty life. It was going to be horrible. I was never going to be able to have fun again. I was going to hang out with these people that are holier than thou. And it's been quite the contrary. Getting sober has given me this life that's beyond anything I could ever imagine. And, one thing that's new for me that's happened recently is that I'm recognizing that what the thoughts that go on in my head match my heart. Like, there's a large, look at how far it is, those watching me on YouTube. So you're in your heart to your head. It's like, that's kind of, I mean, it's not that far, but it's kind of far. And for a long time, they didn't match each other, right? So my heart would feel one thing and my head would say, don't feel that way. Don't feel that way. Or feel this way. And your heart would be like, well, no, I do care about that. And your head would say, no, you shouldn't care about that. And I hope that made sense. But like, they didn't match. And today I feel like they match. Like, I have hope. I have faith that everything's going to work out the exact way it's supposed to work out. I might not want it to work out a certain way, but in the end, it's always better than what I ever thought it was going to be. I can tell you, I would never imagined that I would be packing up my house right now where I am, renting it out, going to Florida, and then we think we're going to go somewhere after that. Florida's not it. It's not it for us. We tried it. It wasn't for us, but we'll go back there till February. But, realizing that I tried something and I didn't like it and it's okay was huge. And my husband's like, sure, didn't work. We'll keep moving to the next thing. And knowing that we have each other is all that really matters. and knowing that I have faith in God and God's going to watch over me, it doesn't really matter, right? It's like everything always works out better than I could ever imagine. I remember being so poor and always worrying about money, and I don't have that worry anymore, thank you, God. But that took time. That was a good 10 years that I was worried about money, maybe even 14 years. No, 13 years that I was worried about money and didn't trust that everything was going to be okay because I had this fear, this fear, this fear. I had to chase things, and I'd shove square pegs into round holes, and I tried to manipulate things so that they'd work out for my benefit. And in the end, it never was for my benefit. Like God was kind of like showing me signs right along the way, like don't get into this relationship with this person because it's not going to work out. You're totally different people. And I'd be like, oh yes, I want to be friends with this person, but in the end it wasn't going to work out. We're too different. It's okay. Not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody am I going to be best friends with. Not everybody am I going to be friends with, and that's okay. But that took a long time to get to. But having that faith that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out is hard, because it's blind faith. As I just mentioned, it's like blind. It's like believing in something that you don't even know, you can't touch, you can't smell, you can't feel, and knowing in your heart, like, I gotta have faith today. I have to have faith, because if I keep doing this fear thing and do the Eeyore, oh my God, or the Chicken Little, the sky's falling, the sky's falling, the sky's falling, I don't get anywhere. I just don't get any hope. I don't get any faith. I don't get any, life is not joyful. So I want life to be joyful. And especially if we have kids, it's like, geez Louise, I want them to have fun, even if I'm not. I want to at least make it fun for them. I know when I was drinking, I wasn't that fun. When I'd say, go literally play in traffic because you're driving me crazy. That wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. Being hungover wasn't fun. Being the mom that was like, ugh, and wishing time away, always wishing time away, always, I can't wait till they're grown up. I used to be like that all the time. I can't wait till they're grown up. I can't wait till they go away. Now they're gone. Oh my God. I'm like, why did they go? Oh my God, I miss that time so much. And we wish these things away. I don't wish my life away today. I mean, that is faith. Like, I spent so much time worrying about everything being okay and wanting time to go away, that I missed all the good stuff. I missed all the good stuff. And it's like, if we have these expectations that our kids are going to be perfect, and especially, I don't know, for this COVID time, I think you guys are the warriors that are out there, the moms and dads that have kids at home and are homeschooling and are dealing with this crazy pandemic. I mean, it's freaking hard. I don't even have little kids and it's hard, but I can imagine having little kids, and they had all, like, the first day of school, it's like you're taking a picture. I just saw kids in our area just went back to school, and they're taking pictures of their kids sitting in their kitchen at their computer. And here's first day of school. That sucks. And it's hard. And I think that if we don't have expectations of everybody during this time, it makes it a lot easier. It's like we're all trying to do our best. Even our kids are trying to do our best. And it's hard not to get stuck in, oh my God, this sucks. It's horrible. Isn't it horrible? We cannot get, it's like, who wants to get on a pity party? Who wants to go to a pity party? Not me. Nobody ever wanted to go before. We all know this sucks. We all know the environment we're living in sucks. It sucks. Nobody's having fun. Nobody's having fun. Kids aren't having fun. People can't go to work. They're not having fun. But how do we change that around? By having faith each day and going, okay, this is where we are today. So we're in a pandemic. We're at home. We're looking at each other for another day in a row. And how can we enjoy this? How can we make this fun? How can we do that? So, I don't know, go for a walk with your family every night and see how many colors of green you see outside on your walk. Notice, because if you live somewhere where there's seasons, you can see things changing, right? So you can watch, you can have faith that, like, okay, wait, did you guys see on our walk today? There was a little coolness to the air. Did you see one of those leaves was changing colors in that tree? Did you notice that the birds sound different? Did you see the grass looks a little different? Um, there's so many things you can focus on rather than the negative and the fear. You can make things beautiful, right? It's our imaginations. I was listening to something on NPR that not that long ago that said today with computers and TVs and everything that's coming at us at all times, social media, all of that, it's left little time for the imagination, right? Nobody's imagining. Nobody's like having these, like nobody's imagining things anymore. And I I love having my imagination. It's like I think that some ways it makes me a little kid still because I love and you can laugh at me about this, but I love Tinkerbell. I love fairies. I love butterflies. I love all that. Gives me joy, right? It gives me joy. And there's so much joy and good going on. But if I don't use my imagination, I can't see it. So I can tell you this. I went and as you all know, I'm packing up my house. So I'm packing up my house. I have a lot of Christmas stuff. A lot of Christmas stuff. Like too much Christmas stuff. But I have a lot of Christmas stuff. But I'm a little kid at heart, as I just mentioned. So I have all this Christmas stuff. And I started to imagining where we're going to live, not this Christmas, but next Christmas, the Christmas of 2020, the Christmas of 2021, and setting up my Christmas village and what it's going to be like. And I think that, like, if we start to focus on all the good things that are going to happen after this pandemic, like, what's going to happen? Like, the whales have had a chance to go swimming, and there's not cruise ships everywhere. And the dolphins are out there playing, and the birds, there's not as many planes. And it's like, there's not as much pollution in cars. Like there's so many good things that are going on to focus on that. And that's like faith, right? That shows you faith, like believing in those things and then having them come true. Like having that sense of like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. And you don't have the craving. That gives you that's faith. Right? That shows you like somebody's there. Somebody's got your back. Like who is that? It's not, you can't see it. You can't touch it, but that's faith that you don't have that anymore. You don't have that desire. It gives you faith. How do you feed that faith each and every day? And so faith without works is dead. How are you going to work on it for you? Uh, Saying that prayer will help. I promise you, it will not hurt you. And you don't have to necessarily get on your knees, but if you want to get on your knees, get on your knees. But do what's right for you. And take the time to fall in love with yourself and realize that there's a reason I'm here. Sometimes we don't know the reason. Sometimes we may never know the reason. But knowing you're here for a reason and something out in the world loves you. And I can tell you this, falling in love with yourself is huge and it's hard, and especially with all those big, ugly adjectives I used earlier. But taking the time to realize that you're worth it and work it if you're worth it, and take the time each day to fall in love with you and know that you're not alone. Okay. If you reach out to me, you can always reach out to me at Bizzy, Bizzy, at busylivingsober.com, Busy for Busy Living Sober. Go check out my website. I'm on all those social media platforms. I'm not on there often. I try to go like once a day because I'm trying to stay busy living sober. You know, I'm trying to stay busy living sober because I don't regret the time that I lost, but I don't want to lose any more time. I want to have imaginations. I want to use my imagination. I want to play. I want to have fun. I don't want to feel like I'm watching someone else's life on Facebook because I don't really care that much. I don't want to voyeur into other people's lives because it's boring, to be completely honest. I don't care where people went on trips and how happy you are in that whatever millisecond that picture was taken. It's none of my business. I don't care. I'm sorry. I want to have that own life myself. And if I'm looking at my camera or looking at my phone, I miss it all. It's time gets wasted in this warp zone of social media. So I don't want to go there. I want to have faith today. I want to have faith that everything's going to work out just the way it was supposed to work out. And trust in that each and every day because it gives me this life that's amazing. And today my heart matches my head. And I can tell you all that I love you. And if you're doing this, I just cheer you on. Come on, one more day. Because alcoholism is cunning, baffling, powerful. And alcohol is a killer. And so are drugs. And you're perfect the way you are. Just take time to realize that you're perfect. Take time to realize that you want to have faith and you don't want to be scared anymore. Feed this faithy guy. Don't feed the fear. Feed the faith. No more Eeyore. Get more into Tigger. Tigger's good. Pooh's good. Tigger's good. Pooh's good. They're really good. They're fun. You want to be fun and happy and joyous and free and not worry about the drinking anymore or when you're going to score the next drug. It's all about scoring the next smile from your kids or from your mate, whoever your mate is, whoever your partner is, whoever your friend is. And if you don't have one right now, call me, reach out to me at Busy Living Sober, and I promise I'll cheer you on and you won't be alone. And have some faith today. I hope that works for you. I hope you could relate to today's podcast. And until next time, guess what? Keep getting busy living sober. Bye-bye.